if I'm in the right camera view. Hi, my name is Nova. This is That's So Nova. Today we're going to be doing a mini tutorial. This is a mini tutorial for a mini bag. We're going to be doing the Itty Bitty Bowler bag from Sew Yours. I got permission to do a tutorial. I've seen the bag a lot and I wanted to make it, and I said, why not film it? I did purchase a mini bowler kit from her using her hardware. The only hardware I'm going to be changing up is I'm going to use a outside magnet to give the bag a little bit more, not class, just fun. So you'll see how to do that as well. That's the only thing I'm going to be changing on it is a magnet, because I wanted to keep it classy and keep it right. So let's get right into it. I have two views for you that I'm going to try to switch back and forth. My husband's not here, so what happens is if I go into a tangent of talking and or sewing, I forget to do views. There's going to be this aerial view right here, and then there's going to be up close and sewing, and then my magical face for you. So we're going to get into the Itty Bitty Bowler bag. There's not a whole lot of pieces to it. I thought I was going to interface and actually do it tomorrow, but lo and behold, there was. It came together quite easily. So we're going to sew our strap and our strap connectors. So I'm going to grab my R strap, and it's 3 inches wide and however length you need it. Some people like to use 54, some people like to use 60. There's people that use 48 because, you know, they're tiny. So give me 1 second. I'm going to move things out of the way, which I should have did prior to the video, but you know me, if it's not chaos, it's not Nova. So we're going to move these lighters and get some double-sided tape. Why I'm saying double-sided tape, I need to make a memo to myself to go to Waywack and get more tape, because I have a few tutorials for you beautiful people. I'm going to give you the link down below to Sew Yours, as well as where you can purchase the pattern and where I got my hardware kit. Now, there's like this weird thing with hardware kit. There's a lot of people that love them. There's some people that absolutely hate them. And I feel like this is longer than 54 inches. I like hardware kits because I don't have to like pick and choose all these pieces at once. Like, I could just pick out a colorway and just go. I'm a person that likes kits. I'm going to measure this because this feels way more than 54 inches, and it is. Okay. I'm just going to use my handy dandy and line this bad boy up. If you hear slight banging, the roof next door is getting fixed. I keep thinking it's someone knocking on my door, and it's not. It's just the roof getting fixed. If you ever have the situation where this happens to you, where you accidentally cut too much, don't throw these away. These are perfect pieces for trim and or backing or a lot of different things. So I'm going to remove this double-sided tape. Oh, fair warning, Loki had some vaccines yesterday. He's a little grumpy, and he's already came down and brought his water bowl to me. He came down to, like, he does this thing where it looks like he's suffocating me. If I'm sitting on the couch, he has to put his neck in my face for like 2 minutes, at least 10 times a day. It's his puppy love. So he's a little fussy right now, but he's also a little sleepy, so he may not come down. Roxy is just being Roxy. I think she was supposed to be a cat, but she turned out as a pup. She's being cute as ever. When they usually have smaller chains, like smaller straps like this, sometimes this is when I tell people to like explore like the chains. Like if you've been wanting to look at chains, but you didn't know what type of bag, because this bag is so tiny, the chain is not going to, like, it won't look ill proportioned. It'll look just right. It will be super cute. And there's like different chain lengths. You can get like 45, 50, 24, whatever you want. So I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm going to top stitch just 1/8 of an inch down both sides. I'm using Tex I couldn't find my Tex 90. I need to order, I think, more of it. I'm using Amon Thread Tex 70. I need to do, like, in the beginning of the year, what I usually do is I order most of my threads. I usually get Amon Thread from either Sunny Sew or Steve from Sewing Gold. And I will also go to Superior Thread. Superior Thread is my favorite thread to use, but it's extremely expensive. So, like, once a year, I'll treat myself and get one or two spools of a color that I normally don't use. Like, I always use black, I always use gray, I always use white. So I'll try, like, another color that I know I've been playing around with a lot this year, and then buy that thread, that color. Trust me, I go through a lot of black and white. My white spool is almost out, and it's like my favorite 90 weight thread. I, however, just found out that there's like either thicker thread, like 120 and all that stuff. I want to try all of those out. Take your time. If you need to clip. My machine sounds like crazy right now because there's a little piece, there's a tool on the other side that keeps touching it, but it's fine. I wanted to know, I've had some people ask me, but I've had reservations of doing it. Would you like me to, I usually either sew on this machine or the 5550, but would you want me to sew on my free arm? So complete bag? I'm just curious. I know there's not like a lot of people that do tutorials out there on a cylinder arm, because it's a huge learning curve. If you come from like a machine bed industrial, like I didn't touch my free arm for like a month. I would just look at it, and then I started using it when I would do my top stitching of bags. And then one day I started playing around with it. I was making a Maggie 55 bag, and I used the whole bag, and I was like, holy moly, this thing is magnificent. Okay, so we're gonna get those off. And I'm going to open up my kit. Oh, it comes with rivets. That's super cool. I love it when companies do that. So we have our one end. I guess because you fold in the other one, she only thinks you need one. That's interesting. I always put two, but you know, to each his own, to each his own. All right, so I'm going to grab this. I usually really like doing the the straps at the end. I feel like it's my prize for working really hard. I know that sounds weird. I know it's better to sew it at the beginning so you're not running out of bobbin. It's just something, I don't know. I'm weird. We all know that. So I'm going to feed my strap through. And then I'm going to grab my hole puncher and center it in. Put cap on. And I'm going to set it. My presses from Minkus and Margot on Etsy. They're a small mom and pop shop. I definitely one day will try cam snaps because they do have like cool magnet ones and different features. each kind of person has their own. So what I do from here is I'm just going to go down the line, make sure this is straight, and then I'm going to thread my one of my swivel clasps in there. And everything is straight on this, and I'm going to now take this and thread it. I'm just folding it roughly about a ½ inch up, 1.5 inches, I'm sorry. ½ inch up. You'll be like, Shinova, I cannot get this rivet through. I'm gonna set my rivet. I'm gonna put my press on the side for right now. I'm going to grab and take off the film. And I'm going to slide this strap in on. Grab a screwdriver. I want to try it. I know there's electrical ones. I've never had one. I don't know where people get one, but that's something I want, one of those notions that I want to try. I mean, it's not going to make or break it, but I'm always intrigued with notions. Anything that can help, you know, progression. And this is a beautiful strap. So we're done with the strap, but they also advise that they would like you to put my screwdriver back, would like you to sew up your straps. My straps are connected as one piece right now because I'm going to cut them in half. I have a piece of Decovil Light on it. I always believe in interfacing vinyl. Vinyl can stretch, and I've personally experienced where I was holding a bag that had no interfacing in the middle of it, and the bag was heavy. It was my fault. I jam-packed that bag in, and all I kept saying is I should have used twill tape, or I should have used Decovil Light. I should have, could have, would have. And the strap just stretched so much that when I finally got it home and I unpacked it, the strap was like really disoriented. Like no matter how I try to stretch it or add some steam or whatever, it was a hot mess. And I had only myself to blame on that. And I'm using a seam roller. This one is from Himalayan Bags. I love seam rollers. They're like ironing vinyl and leather and any material. Cork, Craftex. I'm going down 1/8 of an inch on both sides. I always just hop over a few stitches and then go down the other side. Okay, we are done with that part. Okay, then we're going to work on the flap with the magnet. Because I'm using a pattern PC, just because I'm using a regular, not a regular magnet, one of those little fancy showy magnets, I'm going to mark where this needs to be on here. So we're going to mark 1 inch up. So I'm going to fold this in half and then grab my pen and my gigantic ruler, apparently, because I can't find it. Okay, thank goodness. I was like, that ruler is like 17 inches. Okay. And I'm just going to mark 1 inch up. I'm using Mormino's Tandy leather pen. It works short on black, and we're going to sew this together just like she advises. Okay, so we install it. We measured up, bottom sew. Then we're going to clip it together. And And we're going to place exterior and lining flaps right sides together, clip it in place, and sew 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. On my juki, I have a plate that was made from sewing gold. And Steve created these really nice plates. And number 2 is my 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. I'm just following that. Okay. Alright, and I'm going to grab my pinking shears. Whenever I have a curve, I like to use pinking shears. And because the seam allowance is only 1/4 of an inch, I don't want to have really sharp edges. Okay. On the page 7 of your following along, she does have an area where if you wanted a nameplate where you could place it. I'm going to use this chopstick real quick and get these corners. This little area is not trying to come out, but I got it. And then this is not a sharp tool. I'm just going around the seams just to really crease it in. Sometimes these things that you do ahead of time help in the long run. So we're going to now, so we still have that mark right there. We are going to now top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch. You can increase your stitch length if you wish. I'm still at a 4.5 and I most likely am not going to change it. That's called a spade. I won't change it. I do one back stitch to lock in the stitches. See, when we were pressing out those little curves and crevices, we're top stitching them down. So by doing that extra step before, it can help tremendously. Grab these threads. Then we're going to start putting this magnet on. See. I'm just trying to put all my screws. I generally try to put them in something that's circle, like the inside of my like, I can't talk today. My double-sided tape, so that way if they roll, then they're all rolling together. The magnet goes like this. So what I want to do is, this is going to go in the front, this is going directly behind, and I want to make sure that I have the correct placement, because I cannot tell you how many times I've actually messed up on this part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in where I'm going to punch holes at. And then I'm going to punch them. Okay. I'm going to put the first hole, I'm pressing out where the screw part's gonna go in, the female side. And just take your time if you're doing this part. It could take a little bit, but it's worth it in the end. And then I'm going to grab my magnet. I'm going to get the nail, and I'm going to press down. I'm not tightening the screws all the way. I like to put in all the screws before I tighten everything up. Okay, now I'll tighten it up. Don't tie it to the point where you're stripping your screw or your screwdriver, but just enough. So look, oh, how cute that is. Got your little frog. Okay. All right. So we are going to put this aside for right now. And then we're going to grab our slip pocket, which is pattern piece B. And we're going to put right sides together. And we're going to sew at 1/4 of an inch. Just making sure everything is aligned and nothing's shifting. Okay, I'm going to pink. When I'm working with smaller bags, I like to pink just to distribute the bulk a little bit better. See, when it's folding on itself, it's not going to be just one line of that's really harsh trimming. Okay, and I'm going to top stitch at 1/8 of an inch. All right, and then we're going to measure where our strap is going to go. I mean, our magnet's going to go. And I want to make sure that my magnet is going to fit really well. So I'm going to take one of the pattern pieces of A, because we're going to align everything, I'm going to find my center. Because when you do it, like when you have a magnet that's on the outside and not going to be like a hidden snap, you want to make sure everything lines up and it's not going to be like an awkward bulge or bulk. And there's always like wiggle room. So to make sure it's really custom, I'm going to keep in mind that 2 inches and 5/8 of an inch. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to find my centers based. You'll see how I'm going to baste. I'm going to do some basting. Like I'm going to baste all around the bottom of this just to hold it in place. But I'm not doing the top layer. I'm only doing the lining. I know it's okay, sounds weird. I got you. But there's a method to my madness, I promise you. Because we're only putting the female magnet through the first layer. We're not doing it on the lining anyways. So just basting this in place real quick at like 1/8 of an inch. I'm only basting the bottom because I want to make sure that there's nothing that shifts, if that makes sense. Like, so when I'm putting this magnet in, there's nothing shifting, and it'll be a perfect placement for this magnet. Finding my centers over here on the top. And putting these back while I'm done using them will be awesome, Nova. So I'm going to grab some clips and baste this on. Because I want the perfect placement I could possibly do. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press down, and you can see right there I made an indentation, and I'll press again of where my magnet male point ends. So I'll begin like impression ends. So for me, I would need to go up to 2 3/8. See, if I would have had it higher, it would have been like a little bit of a buckle, like it would bow out and buckle. We don't want that, right? Get the magnet. I just have a female. Where did you go? All right. That's why we have an extra one. It's okay. It's probably stuck on behind the magnet bowl, most likely. So remember how earlier we had too much material and we had to cut the strap? I'm going to grab a small section of that now, and I'm going to also draw on the washer marks so that way it has like extra. Even though this has Decoville light in it, I want to make sure that that snap doesn't go anywhere. So I'm trying to grab my I'm just putting slits in there. All right. And then I'm going to put some electrical tape. I got this electrical tape from Zero Bag Maker, and it's my favorite thing to do because I usually sometimes use double-sided tape, but it will come up, and then I don't know what it is with me and duct tape. It never works for me. So here we go. That's what we're going to do. I found that electrical tape works really, really well for me. All right, so I'm just going to now base this lower part all the way on a 1/8 of an inch. I know that was like a lot of steps, but to have that perfect magnet positioning is super important to me. So I was going to show you the process. We could have already been on the lining, but having that perfect lining magnet, chef kiss, totally. So we're now going to get the exterior back piece, pattern piece A. And we're going to grab our zipper facing and pocket. We're going to measure 1 1/8 of an inch down. I'm going to find my center on here and just put some tape so it can help. So 1 1/8 of an inch. See, I'm telling you, these Westcott rulers, people are sleeping on them. Having that 1/8 of an inch helps tremendously. So I'm going to first find my centers. Small little V. And then I'm just going to take some chalk and draw a line. It wipes right off, so I'm going to find my centers on the zipper facing and try not to stick because I peeled off my tape too fast. Small little V's. All right. So now when we do this, when we go 1 1/8 of an inch down and we line this up, we can line it up absolutely correctly, so there's not one more on the other side or not. Okay, we are going to stitch around this box. Okay, there are people that can do this box thing where they're it's like two lines. I don't know, for some odd reason that never works for me. Take your time. All right. On her pattern, you're on page 8 with me, it says see zipper pocket instructions. Okay, sometimes I absolutely love when patterns have that where like go to this page or whatever. It's kind of like seek your adventure kind of stuff. But if I'm in the middle of something, I would like to know how you put your pockets in without me losing that page. What I normally do is I'll take a clip and then I'll go to the table and contest and see how they do it. But most of the time, I'll just start doing like the pocket of my choice because I don't want to flip back. I'm a lazy I get lazy with my sewing, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm making the little V cuts as close as I possibly can to the stitching without actually cutting in the stitching. It's important. That is a very important part. Do not cut into the stitching. All right. See how the chalk's already disappearing? That's why I love the white chalk. Oh my God. Do whatever you do, for the love of God, do not use the red or blue. I can't. I heard the yellow's okay. I do use the gray because most of the colors I use are like blues and greens and blacks. So it could just blend in. But man, that red, I learned a valuable lesson. I used my nail to kind of imprint on where that kind of like folded it in on itself, so it knows that we're gonna flip you over. And what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna pull it through, and I like to grab some double-sided tape, and I generally know that this is not going to affect my seam. It's not going to go into my zipper allowance or seam allowance, so I'll put it across. Same thing down here. And when I pull this out, I can just stick it to my double-sided tape. Keep these nice and taut. And then I'll just grab my seam roller. And just give it that extra press. And if I see an area that can go up a little bit more, I just adjust because it has double-sided tape. So we have that. We're gonna go grab our zipper. There's only 2 zippers in here, so not a whole lot of work to do with the zippering. Of course, okay. I was going to say, of course it has to not come up. I'm going to sear the ends. Wrong side of the zipper tape on the right side of the lining. We're going to do that on the other side as well. You can backstitch if you wish. Sometimes I just get in a habit of doing it. It's not a bad habit you have, unless you're pulling like the strings to the back. Then you're like, man, I wish I didn't do it. But this is why I chose this particular color, is because I knew that if I backstitch on the front, nobody's going to see. Nobody's going to know because it's black. So I'm using some double-sided tape, and I'm going to put it at the ends. And right here. And make sure you, like, I was going to say massage the double-sided tape. What are you doing? I'm just massaging my double-sided tape. All right, so I'm going to grab a zipper pull. And I think I picked this one, and I didn't even, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to not know that that's not antique. It's pretty. So I'm going to have my zipper close to the left. There's no right or wrong way. Somebody asked, where did that come from? The left and the right. It comes actually back from being a servant, and from when tailors and seamstresses worked on clothes. They wanted one to identify that button sides, like right side is male, left side is female. And also when servants got dressed, how they put their zipper up and down was based on their clothing too. So it's a really old tradition that needs to kind of go away because servants, yeah. But it's based off of that. There's no wrong or right way. I'm ambidextrous. My middle child, Hope, she is left-handed. So she prefers things closing to the right. So go off of what you know and what you feel comfortable. Don't let anyone tell you there's a wrong or right answer, because there's not. All right, so we just place that right on there, and I'm not liking how that part's looking, so I'm going to adjust. All right, what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to draw a line that is about 1/8 of an inch away. Just tossing off clips too. Westcott ruler, people, don't sleep on these. I'm going to not have my double-sided tape roll on itself would be awesome. I'm going to have my pocket go towards the outside, and this is what I'm talking about, how fast, but I can still see the lines. I'm going to sew across where that 1/8 of an inch start at is. I'm going to back stitch, and I'm going to go straight across, sewing 1/8 of an inch across the bottom. Remember, your pocket is out. If you have your pocket in, you're sewing over your pocket. Going to that 1/8 of an inch line that I made and back stitching. Now you could pull out your threads, especially if you have like a bright color fabric, but I'm using black, so it merges in, so yeah, I don't have to do that step. Then I'm going to pull my pocket down, and I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to go across. Now you could go up, across, and down, but I'm going to show you another way in case you're like, hey, every time I try to do this box thing, it does not work. So I'm going to go to my 1/8 of an inch line, back stitch, okay, I back stitch where the 1/8 of an inch. So it looks like very two clean lines, and it looks nice and neat. We're going to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up, and we are going to back stitch the heck out of this little V part like nobody's business. Yeah, we're going to back stitch that like nobody's business. I'm sorry, I thought I got a message from one of my kids. I apologize. So we're going to start really close, and then I go back and forth on this like 2 or 3 times. This is where the zipper is, and then we're just going to close it off. Trim, and then I just trim down the pocket so that everything's nice and flush. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'll show you how it looks in just a moment. We're going to back stitch, go over to that little triangle V thingy, and back stitch a couple times. All right, so now when we open, it's not going to go anywhere, or close, it's not going to go anywhere. And you have a nice little pocket on this in the back. All right, so we have that. The credit card slot situation is pretty interesting. I have never done credit cards like this before, but it did come together pretty nicely. So you have your back covering for your credit cards, and then you have this long piece. So she has measurements, and I can't give out the measurements, but I highly suggest you to write top on one side And basically after every 2 lines, you're going to be putting interfacing. She uses, I think, woven interfacing like a sew fuse. I didn't have sew fuse. I got to hit up Monica. I had Decafel Light and I put that together. Once you do it, she has a very interesting way. Like you press this, you put it straight. You come up here, you press this, and like it just kind of flows together. It works really nice. At this point, you can, when you're right here, you can add lines to your credit card slots because these are going to go in vertically. I don't know. I don't know if I want to put like, I mean, it does blend in a little too well if I do that. If I don't, let me see. I wish I would have changed out colors, but you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It'll look good. All right, and I'm just doing 1/8 of an inch. There's not, every designer has their own way of doing credit cards. This wasn't actually frustrating. It came together pretty easily. If you look at the diagram she has on page 9, you can kind of see where you put the every 2 measurements you're putting interfacing. So this actually helps tremendously to make sure there isn't no bulk, and it gives you a nice clean pocket. I have to rethread my thread decided to start threading up. started shredding, but now I'm gonna call it threading up. That'd be cool. What's happening? I don't know. My thread's starting up. I really wanted to do this bag because 1, I've seen like some beautiful bags around. 2, I thought this would make a fantastic gift during these holiday seasons and for a friend or a loved one or selling. I thought it would be a really cool one, and I didn't know how long it will take. I have like some gumming up issues. And do I have an alcohol wipe? I didn't know how long it would take, but I felt like this could be done like production style, and it's very intriguing. A lot of people like small tiny bags, like just like the mini backpacks, so why not? So we have this, and we're going to find our center, and this is how I find my center on everything. So if you don't know it by now, you're going to be like, she just snips everything, and you're absolutely right. And you'll see why in like 5 seconds. Because it literally makes your life a whole lot easier this way. So we're going to put these together. And then I'm going to grab my ruler. Match center to center. And I have my line where I need to sew across now. Everything's even then, and it literally just makes your life a whole lot easier just by. So like every card, when I get to this part, for each card, I'm going to go up and down twice, because I don't know about you, I'm an overstuffer. And I'm okay with that. I have like 100 cards in each slot. Okay. So when we get here, she goes into details on how to do the card slots. Like I said, we are going to now take these card slots and then put them on top of, we're going to leave a 3-inch gap at the bottom. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw my 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so my pet peeve is when corners are not, well, my corners are not perfect. So what I do now is I draw my seam allowances and then my opening. So that way it will be like less fussing. And I know when to put my needle down and pivot. Get this extra interfacing. This glitter fabric came from Emmeline Bags. I believe it's part of their her laminate, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to have where I'm going to cut into a V already, because this is where my opening is going to be. So when things are just like 1/4 of an inch, you don't have a whole lot of wiggle room. So just you need to draw your lines, draw your lines. All right, and then back stitch well. And it would help to base your cards down ahead of time so that one's not accidentally flipped up, because that happens way too much. Much more than I want to say. And you're going to trim your card slots, your backing and your card slots together. I'm just trying to get all these loose threads. You can see my writing's all over the back of my I'm going to pink it down to 1/8 of an inch, especially in these areas where there's a lot more bulk, because you want a nice top stitching. Okay. All right. Give me just one moment. One moment. I'm sorry about that. My phone was ringing and I filmed from my phone, so I thought it was maybe one of the kids' schools, and it wasn't. It was a telemarketer, and they left a message, and I know they have their jobs, and I don't want, you know, people got to do what they got to do to pay, you know, pay the bills, and it's some form of kind of honest work. But whenever I get a call from an unknown number while my kids are in school, I immediately want to answer, because I don't want to be like, oh, I'm too busy or something. I don't know. So, no, my rant's over. But that's how I felt at the moment. I was like, are you kidding me? I don't want it, like, Hope poor little girl has had like strep twice, has had the flu, and then she has a cough that just won't let up. And we took her to the doctor. She doesn't have COVID, and it's just part of what these kids are going through going back to school. And unfortunately, you know, some parents can't pay for their kids to stay at home if they're sick, so they, you know, they kind of mask their symptoms with medicine, and they let the kids go to school and get other kids sick. So it's part of public schooling. So I was just making sure it wasn't her, Hope. My oldest, Faith, and my youngest, Kendall, they don't call very much. But my middle child, Hope, she does. Okay. All right, I'm just going in the hole and I'm just poking out the corners as best as I can. You don't want to accidentally poke through. You did all this nice work. All right, got a cute little pocket there. Put my point tuner. We're going to place this 1 1/4 of an inch away from the top end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some double-sided tape and put it at the bottom. You're like, Shenova, you're killing me with the double-sided tape. I know. But when you have situations like this where you're going to be measuring directly below, it's just easier for you to do it this way. I'm going to top stitch the top card, slip pocket. All right. Okay, these extra little burrs, and then I'm gonna grab the lining. It's lining A. This waterproof canvas came from, I purchased it from Backstitch earlier this year. Anytime I see some HP, you know I'm gonna have to buy it. I'm gonna find my centers again. Do the same thing here. Okay, going to remove the double-sided tape and get these little threads now, because this is a tiny bag. So I'm just going to draw a line on one of these. We're going to move this. We're going to put this down 1 1/4 of an inch. One and 1/4. And then I'm pressing that bottom double-sided tape so that way you don't have to pin anything. We're going to sew this. I'm going to go in at a small angle, a small like you're doing a triangle, and back stitch, and then go up, and then do the 1/8 of an inch. Make sure you take your time because this is the part of the credit card slots. You don't want to accidentally go over and mess up the seam allowance, because I think this is going to be a tight fit for the cards. The reason why I do that little triangle is because I want to, if someone's going to use this for a slip pocket, they can stick their hand in it without having like too much stress. It has like those extra stitches. A lot of bolt. Stop. I'm going to go in to do like a small little right angle again. Okay. totally just realized I so didn't use, well, you know what? It's not too late. I'm going to use my Made with Magic. I'm just going to stick it over here and baste it on. All right. So now we are going to be making the zipper panel. So I'm going to take my zipper panel, and first I'm going to sear any loose fabric from the zipper so it won't fray that much. And I'm going to go in, put right sides of the have right sides up on the zipper tape and right sides up of your lining, and so your wrong side of your zipper tape should be touching the right side of your lining. And I'm just gonna sew this on at 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch. No one's really gonna see. I definitely believe in basting. Every time I try to sew all in one go, it always messes up. So I now baste them on. And then I'm going to sew this on at 1/4 of an inch. And you can clip it if you wish to. Going to bring the lining fabric to meet the exterior. Pop some clips to help keep it positioned right. Oh, okay. And then we're going to top stitch it at 1/8 of an inch. Trim those threads. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Oh, that would help if it was actually measured the right size. I was like, why is this so much longer? That sometimes happens. I don't know what my dog is doing, but it sounds like he's like rolling dice upstairs. One-fourth of an inch. If I could hold on to the threads, no problem. And I'm doing the same thing, bringing the lining fabric all right, 1/8 of an inch down this side. I was debating on 1 pole or 2 poles. I just always like the way 2 poles look. I mean, it is such a tiny bag though. All right, we got our poles on. We are going to do some basting soon, but we need to have our bottom pieces here and our strap, our connectors, if I can speak right. I'll fold this in half. I like the feel of this hardware. It's not too bulky and it's not really thin at all. It's kind of just right. This is my first time buying hardware from her, and I have no complaints so far. All right. So, all right, we're going to sandwich these in basically together. So I'm going to first put this on. That would help tremendously. We need to have the strap out. I'm going to do 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to go veer a little off. I don't like having like long strap-ins out. I mean, yeah, connectors. I can't talk today, Shinova. Come on. I don't like long connectors out. I just feel like for me, they're going to get pulled on, and the further they're in, tucked in, the easier it is for them not to get injured. Going to go directly underneath the line. And I'm basting that in place. It would have helped if I actually basted it in place. All of it, not part of it. I'm going to close off these side pockets with a 1/8 of an inch. I mean, not side pockets. I'm basting these shut. I know it's like a lot of people don't like basting. I'm one of them. But doing that small basting, like before you put the construction of the bag, it could be tremendous help. I'm going to sew this 1/8 of an inch on, and then to 1/4 of an inch. This gusset has a really unique shape, and I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. Have like double-sided tape build up. I'm gonna have to do a really good alcohol wipe when I'm done with this bag. Clean it, oil it, give it some TLC. I am a stickler about maintenance on your machine. And double-sided tape can gum up any machine, every machine. And the good thing about the industrial is you can use a lot more products that you can't use on it with the domestic. But it still wreaks havoc. It took me like, when I cleaned out it last week, I went underneath the plate and oiled everything and made sure there was enough grease on the gears and all that stuff. There was so much double-sided tape buildup underneath the feed dogs, and I realized I need to do, instead of doing this every 2 weeks or every big job, I need to do it like every weekend just to make sure that the maintenance on the machine is right. Okay. Put a rivet if desired. I'm going to do a rivet. I like having a rivet. I think it makes a bag look good, and it also makes them feel a little bit more secure. And I go through all the layers. That's the whole point of double cap rivets. It's to show that both sides are nice and pretty, but I think it gives the bag a really cool look. Okay, rivet. I'm going to set this. It helps with, like, you know, wear and tear of the bag when it's being worn, and it's not, I just like the way rivets look too. Okay. So I am going to face down each side real quick on the bottom gusset, and then we're going to find our centers. Then I'm going to go on this side and do it. This is super cute. Okay. I match seam to seam. All right, and then small little snip. And a small little snip. Then we're going to grab the front pocket and the back pocket. The front should have nothing on it. So I'm just going to throw some clips on here. Match my little marks. And we're going to base these together at 1/8 of an inch and trim off any excess. Just getting all the gunk, the glue needle stuff, the glue needle, the glue off the needle. Just trimming up to make sure everything's aligned. Okay. That is one side. And then let's do this side. I'm excited. This is not a bad make. I think if this is my first time making this pattern or any of this designer's patterns. I've seen her bags, her bag work, and they looked really beautiful. But there was something about the Itty Bitty Bowler bag that I was like, I want to definitely make this one. Barely got the edge of that. I'm going to baste that real quick because I don't want it to come apart. It may not come apart, but I have had things lift before, and that is the worst. I had something lift. I thought I bound it really well and everything. Oh yeah, the outside little flapped open. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to take off all this binding. I had to walk away from the project for a day, or I was gonna like Hulk smash on everything. All right. So after we put all the clips on everything, we found our centers. We are going to start putting the bag together. I'm going to turn this. I'm going to put this little one. This thing is so tiny. Put a clip there. And I'm just going to start clipping out. Always do the top part of the gusset first, so that way if I have to clip to ease in the gusset, it's directly at that curve. And there's going to be some clipping happening. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a little over 1/8 of an inch, but not past 1/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to put little snips, like every 1/2 inch, or you can put them however you feel comfortable. I like doing a lot of snips so it can fan out evenly. And then what you're going to do is then read it over, and you're going to grab some more clips. All right. So we're going to start sewing, and we're going to sew make sure the zipper pulls are in the right direction. Clip notches if needed, and sew at 3/8 of an inch. Glad I read that. I'm gonna just get my handy dandy stiletto and be my finger where I don't want my finger to get poked at. Removing clips. And if you have like a crinkle or some fabric that's not distributing right, make sure you stitch it, like you maneuver it around so it's above the stitching area and not below, or that crease will show. Okay. So the reason why I always do the front panel first, I usually do the back panel if it's a backpack first, so I can see how, make sure that the straps on the backpack are evenly distributed. But for a handbag, I always I do the front first because I want to do this. I want to poke it out to see what it looks like if I caught everything, because this is the part that's going to be displayed. So I just want to make sure that everything looks good. And it does. This is a cute little bag. All right, so I'm gonna flip it back out, and we are going to start binding. All right, so let's see. And we're gonna attach the binding with the 1/4 inch. Okay, I'm going to. I seen Lauren do this in a video, so I'm going to copy her in a way. She put double-sided tape, and I'm about to do that because I use twill tape for my binding. I usually fold it over just like this and clip it, and I have twill tape in every color. Twill tape is what they use in when you're making corsets, and it's called stay tape as well. It gives a nice structure, and if it can hold a corset together, it holds a bag together pretty beautifully. So I'm going to, it does fray, so you're going to have to fold over one of the edges. I'm going to measure how much I need exactly. And I want it to fold over right here, okay? So I'm going to grab my double-sided tape. Yeah, it's the big dogs. It's 1 inch. Okay. What whenever I start my bias, I always start at the top because no one looks on the inside of the top part of the bag. Let's see if this works. I tried this one time and it did not work, but I honestly think I had like the Dritz wash away and that one wasn't really sticky. So I'm crossing my fingers that this works for me because I'm really excited about it. And man, my machine's going to be like, really? You just gave a whole lecture about double-sided tape, Nova. I'm going to be like, I know. I apologize in advance. And then I'm going to fold over this piece. Man, this tape is sticky. Okay, sorry. And then let's see. Let's give it a go. I'm going to put a clip right here. Whoever wants to make self-sticky binding tape, I will buy some from you. I'm just throwing that out there. My favorite method is binding. I don't like going around the second pass. I'm not going to lie. That's pure lazy, but it's the truth. I figured it was good to try it on this bag because it's so little. Okay, it did pretty good. There was like one area that it did not catch, I think. That's a bad thing about using the same color. Great thing about using the same colors, you can make mistakes and nobody will see it. But the bad thing about using the same color is you can make mistakes and nobody will see it. It's double entendre. Let's see. I'm just going to fix that because I can see that the stitches are slightly off. And I just want to make sure this stays. Other than that, I mean, I have no complaints. That's pretty cool. All right. We might be done with this bag really fast. All right. Let's get the second one on. I'm going to open up the zippers a little bit. Matching the marks. This bag is really tiny, like super tiny. So I'm just going to do some snips like we did last time. Now that I know the seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch, you can go closer to 1/4 of an inch, but smaller snips I feel like always works out best. But that's just my opinion. Everyone has their own way. Okay. Okay, let's cut this. Here we go. Okay, and the reason why I have the pocket open is I can maneuver a little bit easier. Back stitch. No crinkles, no wrinkles. Take your time. Alright. Oops, I ran out of bobbin thread. Okay, that's not a bad place. At least it wasn't like... That's a long time. I had a full one, but that's not that bad. I'm not upset about that. It's in a good place to not win with bobbin chicken. Like, I'm okay. All right. Okay. Just go back over that area, back stitch. Use a stiletto if it helps. I find it extremely helpful sometimes having a stiletto, because if you just pull that fabric just where you need it to be, and you're not like sacrificing your finger to the sewing universe. I'm all about trying to keep my digits if I can. All right, trimming all the threads. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the double-sided tape. I kind of like how that is. I mean, it could be because it's a smaller bag. I have no idea, but I'm going to say I like it. The best place to get twill tape is at a quarter street store, or like Vogue has a shopping store. And you guys may or may not know this, but if you buy from Fabric Wholesale Direct, you're buying from Vogue. It's one of their they own it. Two, it's one of their major distribution centers. But there's a quarter street store in Philadelphia that sells pretty good stuff for for sets, and that's where I usually get my 12 tape from. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can get it like on Amazon and all that stuff too, but small businesses, small businesses. Unless a small business is on Amazon, then you know you're good. There's a lot. Sorry, this curve is killing me right now. And I will like retape and retape something, restick something 100 times to get it right. I think that's why I like double-sided tape, is that it can really help out when you're trying to get the best job you can from sticking something down. Just going to go around. I'm finger pressing everything down. All right, let's start sewing. Your seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch. Yeah, I find it easier when the bag is where I can have it in a circle, like in a circular motion. Like I can just feed it that way versus going flat. I go through my moments. One minute I like it flat, the next minute I like it upright. I'm a finicky person when it comes down to finishing a bag. My neighbor, they have like 2 like Harley Davidsons, and whenever they home, I know it because I can feel the vibration in my my work room. I'm like, oh, my neighbor's home. Okay. All right. That area I need to redo, but that seems to be the only one. Here we go. Okay. I got you. Okay. We're going to turn this bag right sides out. Have the zipper open. It's so tiny. I have to always remember to take my foot off the presser foot. No. Okay, hold on. You might have a slight issue here, my friends, but I can fix this. Okay. Okay. All right. Some of the zipper tail did not catch. Tape did not catch, and I did not notice it. So I'm sticking this in, and then I'm thinking about some glue to help it stay down before I sew it down. I got a cool glue nozzle in my first day of Christmas box, and I cannot wait to put it on one of these bad boys. See, do I have a needle over there? If not, I mean, I could turn it and repair it later. It's not major. I've done this before, but this is why I generally like longer zippers so that it could be a part of the seam allowance. Okay, so whenever this happens, I'll do like a couple of ladder stitches so that it's invisible to the eye, and it also helps secure the zipper. I could definitely take apart the panels again and do it that way too, but if you catch it, you should be okay. And I'm just sewing a little bit of stitches there because this one little area did not catch, and it's okay. It happens. We just fix it. And because we're all talented sewists, we all know we can do it. And just doing a couple of ladder stitches, and you won't even notice it. It'll be stronger because it has hand stitching. And it's going through the waterproof canvas and the zipper tape, so not the vinyl. Okay, I'm going to put a knot in this, and then we'll turn it. One more. That's why I always have a needle and thread on my machine, because you never know. That's how when I fix skip stitching too. All right. You could probably do the flap first. Like pull the flap out. That probably would have helped tremendously. I'm just putting my hand and I'm just pushing out the bias binding so that way it doesn't roll onto itself. pushing it out. Oh, this is so cute. This is so cute. And you're like, probably like, why is your fabric all crinkly on the label? Because when there's heat, this has a hidden map. So I wanted it to be all Harry Potter. And the top part of the gusset has that too. So when someone's out in the sun, it shows the map. You have the cool Harry Potter stuff on the inside. You got some chocolate frogs, zipper pallet pulls, some really cool back pockets. And then you can put your strap, and that is all you have to do. You're ready to go. Ready to be super cute. So we are all finished. We're all finished. So final thoughts on this little cutie. First, I would wear this bag every single day. And because it has a credit card thing, it'll be nice. I don't have to bring a wallet, or I can bring something like a purse pal or something. 2, it comes together really easily. This is my first pattern from Sew Yours. I like her method of teaching. I don't like, though, and keep this in mind if you're getting the pattern, to mark these pages. I don't like when it says see instructions, or like go to the table of contents to figure out the zipper pocket, or I don't like that because everyone installs a little bit different. Testing with people, like I realized everyone has a different method, and it would have been nice to see consecutively in the pattern, and her other patterns may be like that and she doesn't want to repeat it, but that's just my personal thought. This is my first time using her hardware. Her hardware is not thin, but it's not clunky. It's like a nice in between. It did come relatively fastly. And the great thing is when you purchase from her, she'll put like a coupon code inside your bag for 10% off your next one. So it does entice you. I love these little chocolate frogs. The fabric is from I Ate Said. I hope I said that right. If I didn't, I'm so sorry. But I will put the information in the description box. The black vinyl is from Fabric Wholesale Direct. As I said, the main compartments of the hardware I got from her kit. And then for the chocolate frogs, that comes from, if I'm not mistaken, this is Thumbs and Thimbles. And this beauty, this little cutie on the back, the potion comes from Alchemats. I'm not. And so we're all done. I mean, this is a really cute bag, and the only modification we did was adjust the magnet, and so that way it can fit our bag. And then we did the little zipper hack of sewing across and just getting these things so they can look nice and clean on the back. That's it. So I'm really pleased with it. I can't wait till one of my kids model it for me, and I'll put some pictures of the bag like when it's heated up so you can see the wondery maps. But that's all. I really appreciate you coming here today, watching my tutorial. When you like, subscribe, and make a comment, it makes a huge contribution to my channel. If you wanted to go a step further, I do have a Patreon. It's a Patreon class where we take one bag a month and we do modifications, and I go more in depth in how I do modifications. And there's also just tiers. If you want to help support the channel, you can do that as well. Or if you're like, hey, I just appreciate today, I want to buy you a coffee, I'll put that information in the description box and pin it to the post. So I want to hear what you think about this bag. Have you sewn a Sew Yours pattern before? If so, which one? Would you want me to sew another one? So just, I hope everyone has a great day. Stay safe. Until the next time I see you, happy sewing. Bye.